Hey everybody, welcome back to Beautiful You. I'm going to continue some of the discussion from yesterday about the ego because it is a very complicated and complex, I guess that's redundant, topic. And it's just too much to try and get through in one little video. But today I'm going to direct you to www.osho.com. That's the writer of the essay, The Ego, the False Center. That's the name of the essay, The Ego, the False Center. And it's written by Osho, I guess. And my sweet baby brother gave me this incredibly enlightening essay back in 2013, I think, and it's a good 15 to 20 minute read for me at least, and it it took me several times of reading it and a long time of thinking about it to be able to really, well, to completely understand it and then to apply it to my life. It took a while. It's a learning process. It's an incredible self-growth or self-improvement type of tool. It's so enlightening. It's just tremendously, unbelievably enlightening. And so basically, I just kind of want to go through some cliff notes with you today, but I'll put a link to it in the description where you can read it. I highly recommend at least emailing it to yourself and checking it out. It's really amazing. But the ego is natural. It's a natural part of being a human. And as discussed yesterday, you have no choice but to come into this world and learn who you are through your ego. Because when you're a baby, like I said, you're picked up and looked at and like, oh, you're such a beautiful baby, or you're such an ugly baby, whatever, however it is. A reflection of others is how you see yourself. That's the only way you can, because as a tiny baby, you don't even understand who you are. So the very first understanding is through a reflection of others. So you develop a false center, as Osho says, you develop a false center of who you really are. And it's determined by what society thinks is good, which is nothing. It's worthless. Some societies, so the example that he provides in his essay is that if you murder or if you kill somebody in one society, that's bad and immoral to kill somebody. And in another society, such as war, if you kill people, you are good and you are a hero. So society determines what's good and bad, right and wrong. And it's up to us to determine our own inner moral compass. And that's part of determining who we are. But if we allow society to determine that for us, then it's not really who we are. It's a false center. And that's what your ego is a false center. It is the way that we come to know ourselves. And until we become old enough to be able to wrap our minds around that concept, that's all we know. And that is normal. That's how we have to come through it. And once you understand that the false center is false, you can begin to grow in much bigger ways. If you can understand that your ego is what drives your thinking of yourself, and it's false and not really who you are, then you're on your way to happiness and inner peace, because only you can determine what you think is right, and then you can live by those values. The ego constantly has to be fed. The ego never stops needing to be fed. So you can only be happy as long as there are people around you feeding your ego, telling you how great you are, telling you how good you look. And as I said yesterday, when you're on Facebook, or I know that's not popular anymore, but whatever all the new social media things are, everything is about getting likes or sharing the videos or whatever the new things are about. And all the filters are the way that outer eyes look at us. And that's why I'm such a big proponent of your inner self. It doesn't matter what you look like on the outside. It just doesn't matter. Your inner self is what really matters. And we don't even focus on our inner self, so we can't even begin to understand what our ego is, because we're so focused on what the outer is and what the outer looks like and how to make the outer better. We don't even understand that there's an inner self that is all our own, an individual person that is only us. But we don't even develop it because we're so much looking at the outside and worried about what other people think. And so when you can start to understand that there's an inner self that is very important and that makes up who you are, you can start to learn who that is, develop that person, that center, and live by it. And then you can start to understand that, wow, this person said something not very nice to me, but it really only hurt my ego. My ego doesn't like what they said, but they didn't hurt me at all. And that's where you start being able to understand that your happiness is not determined by others, because your ego is not running who you are anymore. But the only way to start to understand that is to realize what a false center your ego is. And you can start thinking about all the times when people have hurt you, and think about, what did they actually hurt? Was it my ego, or was it the real me? And when you realize that there is a real you, that's your beautiful you, and that's the one you grow, and that's how you figure out who you are in this world and what your purpose is. That's how you figure out what you really want to do with your time, and what you want to create, and who you want to be. And it's just so much more exciting. Some people might say, I don't really want to work that hard. I don't want to figure out who that is. I'm just going to make sure I always surround myself with people who say say nice things to me. You can never control everybody. What happens if all of those people suddenly move away or pass? Now you have to find new people, and it's just not easy. Even if you are a person of royalty, or a person in Hollywood, or somebody that we would think of that is constantly, everybody is just kissing up to them and telling them how great and wonderful they are because of their position. Those people also still feel empty inside, I believe. Of course, I don't know. But part of what makes you stop feeling empty inside is understanding who you are and not living for others. And if you're someone that's constantly being propped up by everybody else, it also makes it very hard to find your true you, because the ego loves that stuff. The ego craves it. It doesn't want to look inward and find anything else. It just wants to continue to be stroked by others. But you're still not happy, I don't think, because you're not your own self. You don't belong to you. You belong to everybody else. You're beholden to what others think of you to continue having your ego fed. So it's really important to figure out who you are and find your true center and your true self, and let go of, at least to some extent, the ego. Some people have found, I've talked about this with a lot of people, and I talked to one person who said he was almost able to let go of his entire ego, but it stopped him from caring enough about what, say, his wife thinks. So it's a balance, but understanding what the ego is can allow you to really find more peace and happiness and not be hurt by others. And it's incredibly liberating, like I said yesterday. So find your beautiful you. Find it. Read the essay. Start thinking about it. It's life changing. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe. Turn on the notifications. Share it with anybody who you think might benefit from it. And check out yesterday's video, which I can't remember the name of it. And I know other people can link it and put it up on the screen. I don't know how to do all that. But it's just going to be the one right before this one. And it's like, this is like a part 2 to that one. And also check out The Ego, the False Center. I think it will change your life. It sure changed mine. If you can be open-minded enough to listen to it and read it a couple times and really think about it, which again goes back to setting time in your day, even 1 or 2 minutes a day, to think about it rather than to be distracted by all kinds of other things. You are beautiful you, and beautiful you is individually and only you, the real center, not the false center, what everybody else thinks of you. It's you, the internal you. Show it to the world. You are beautiful you.